What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Hot Mic here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw himself, John Rocha, joined as always by the Sneider, dropping scoops and dropping poops. Jeff Sneider, how are you feeling? How are you? How are things?
Let me get that microphone going, actually.
Yeah, it might work. That might work if you get the microphone going. Why be prepared for the show? Why start now? Show them the shirt that you're wearing, and I'm all dressed up because I just finished recording an Oscars podcast with a friend of mine, Lights Camera Jackson, and you're wearing
all dressed up, don't know what to do. Grab a Rocha and a microphone and do a podcast too.
There you go.
Woo!
Still no desk for Jeff. You're right, but the
desk is coming today, guys. That's why we're taping early. Yeah, because the desk is coming this afternoon.
We don't want any interruptions while Jeff is getting the desk from people and putting it together. Stephanie, someone's going to put it together for you, isn't there? I can't imagine you're going to put it together.
It's put together.
Oh, it's put together
Hopefully it can get through the door.
Go legs first, bro.
I didn't even think about that. Hopefully it can get through the door.
Well, I'm sure they'll put legs first and then angle it. I mean, how long is the desk?
They're not doing anything. This is I'm not find someone on the sidewalk to be like, can you help me get this up to my apartment because it's curbside delivery.
Wow, that's a shame. That is a shame.
That's what happens when you buy secondhand.
Oh,
I was reading Gary Gulman's book Misfit. Do you know who Gary Gulman is?
I've heard Gary Gulman before. What's the book about?
First of all, you would love Gary Gulman because he's a guy who has dealt with depression.
Oh,
his big special, his HBO special, is called The Great Depression.
Okay.
And the book is how he
stand-up, or is he a writer?
Yeah, he's one of the best stand-ups out there. He's fucking hilarious.
Okay.
But he disappeared for a while because he struggled with depression, and he took 2 years and moved back home to his childhood bedroom to live with his mother at 46 years old.
It's like a Brian Wilson situation. Okay.
And I just started the book, but there was like a little passage about how like Gary's like, Ma, why don't you ever take me to like yard sales? And she's like, because yard sales are for poor people, Gary. And Gary's like, but we're poor. And she's like, Jews don't go to yard sales, Gary. Which is true. My mother, if I had been like, Mom, let's go to the yard sale, she'd be like, we're not going to a fucking yard sale.
We don't do that. We had we're not allowed to have yard sales in the housing complex, residential complex that I live in as part of the HOA rules.
Yeah.
So the way people get away with it is they call it an estate sale, and it's literally a fucking yard sale. Like someone down the street just had a yard sale, and they put out all their fucking furniture. They're like estate sale. I'm like, there's no estate here, first of all, in a single family home, and second of all, that is a fucking yard sale. So yeah,
I tried to do it at my old apartment because I have so many books, and I was just like book fair, and they were like, you can't set up a table like outside and sell books. It's like, what the fuck?
It's nonsense.
Anyways,
utter nonsense. Anyways, yeah, we're getting into the world of entertainment here today. Thank you all for the 215. You're already joining us live. We appreciate it madly.
Only 215.
We're just starting out. That's how it starts.
We should have 1,000 people. I'm in this shirt for fucking. Come on.
True. That's true. What's the shirt say again? My sexual preference is often. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking hell.
I got this at the Weed Fest in West Hollywood.
Oh, were you with Roxy or so?
I was with everyone at LA Magazine, actually.
Oh,
they invited me, and we had a great time at Weed Fest, where they shut down a portion of Santa Monica Boulevard. Okay. And it was just all these weed vendors. So yeah,
I love LA Mag.
One of
LA
the
Mag is the best. So anyway, we're gonna get into the world of DC here with this Jurassic League that you reported on that is supposedly happening, an animated feature film here as a next step, as if James Gunn doesn't have enough projects coming from DC. Here's another one to throw on the pile. We're going to talk about the American Psycho reboot. We're going to get into, hopefully we'll get to our Christopher Nolan Oscars, depending on timing and all this situation that's going on here. We're going to get into some Shane Gillis aftermath on SNL, which I think is something is near and dear to Jeff's heart for sure. We're also going to follow up on some of the Sean Bailey stuff and whatever else pops up as we talk about things here going along here, especially that Beef 2 cast, which I've got a few points of view.
Maybe I'll break some news. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling.
How novel. how fucking novel to break news on the hot mic. That would be great. I would love it to happen. I would be so happy if that happened. As a personal fan of your scoops, my friend. So let's get it on here for the first one. Let's talk about this Jurassic League here, Jeff. What are you reporting? What are you hearing? This is an unusual project, an animated feature film here from DC, from James Gunn, from Peter Safran. This is a relatively new series that came out in 2022. Apparently, just kind of like the Transformers with the Dinobots and shit. You're setting this in another time, in another Earth, another universe, but it's mostly prehistoric creatures or creatures here, and they even go up against a dark side that is prehistoric creatures. So, what are your thoughts on this when you heard it, and what do you hear about this project overall?
I mean, I think that this is a smart project, right? DC obviously has to do animated movies, right?
Right. Yes.
Animated movies, people are going to yell at me. Okay. Animated movies are for kids. It doesn't mean adults can't enjoy them. Okay. I love some animated movies. Toy Story, The Lion King. These are classics. Okay. But they're greenlit, not for you, not for me. They're greenlit for children. Let's be clear about that. Okay. And so we don't need The Killing Joke necessarily, right? Which is a great movie. Great, a very cool animated movie, but that's not the audience. That's not how you break $1 billion.
Right.
You break $1 billion making Minions and making the Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah.
And that is exactly who they went out and hired. Brian Lynch, the guy who wrote Minions and the Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah.
Okay. You poach from the best, which right now in maybe outside of the Spider-Man movies, right?
Yeah.
The Spider-Verse movies is Illumination.
Right.
Illumination is, the king. Pixar has not been great lately. Right. Illumination just puts out fire. And so they're like, let's go get the guy who fucking writes all the Illumination movies to write a movie about, what little boy's dream. We're going to forget a dinosaur movie. You're not going to see a dinosaur movie today, kid. You're not going to see a superhero movie today, kid. You're going to see a superhero dinosaur movie. This is what every little boy wants. So this is pretty fucking smart.
Yeah, you think it's smart? Okay, all right. Don't you think this is spreading him a bit too thin? We've got yet another project. We got what? Creature Commandos coming. That's
got to oversee a universe. What do you mean? Yes. Anytime he has at least two people overseeing the universe along with Safran. But you say stretching who? James Gunn thin?
Yes, that's what I mean. Like, there's so many projects that are in the works, that are coming, that they're greenlit, that they're working on, that they're writing. And I'm like, we haven't even planted a flag in the ground for Superman Legacy yet. Why are we greenlighting and looking, and not we, obviously, because I'm not part of DC and the intelligentsia there, but why are they putting that together? Why are they putting out why are they working on all these projects all at once here? Why not just let's see what Superman Legacy does, and then from there we'll start to kind of branch out and see where we go and what we put together.
Because you can't afford to wait until next summer to then say, oh, let's see how it does, and then go from there. You can't. That's not. It's a universe. You have to have like 3 movies a year. Like there has to be like a full pipeline. This is their first, and again, there could be other animated projects.
Right.
That I just found out about this one.
Yeah.
So, other than Creature Commandos, this is the first feature. I believe it's a movie, and how animated movies always take longer than live action movies, right, John?
Standard is 3 to 4 years with animated movies. Yes,
exactly. So, this is still early development. And we're not going to see this movie for a while.
Okay.
This, and who knows if it is the priority after a year or two.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think, as far as like a development move, getting Brian Lynch and doing an animated movie based on that comic, sounds like a lot of fun.
Okay. So let's give a little bit of background. People who are watching who may not know, and Jeff, feel free to fall asleep during this, but the heroes are this: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman. Standard Justice League members, legendary Justice League members, those are the ones you usually go with. Superman is a Brachiosaurus, Batman is an Allosaurus, Wonder Woman is a Triceratops, Flash is a Velociraptor, Green Lantern is Parasaurolophus, which I hope I said, and Aquaman is a baryonyx. But they fight a dark side that comes to prehistoric Earth, and the dark side is called Darkyloside, and it is a giant ankylosaurus seeking to devour the entire planet. They come together to fight and defend the lesser dinosaurs that can't fight for themselves and the primate humans. So there's definitely going to be room for a lot of people to voice over these characters. Now, James Gunn said earlier, we watched the video when he first announced everything and he did it live and what have you. He said that if you're going to play a character in animated, you're going to play a character in live action. So what are you hearing about the possibilities of this being a live action thing down the road after it comes out as an animated feature? Is it only going to be an animated feature? Are these characters ever going to show up in the DCU main universe, or is it only going to be a fun little, fun animated feature?
I don't get the whole game where we're like, oh, James Gunn, you said this, and this has to be that for.
I'm just asking if it's possible. Is all I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I know. I think it's possible that Corin Sweat, right?
Yeah,
he could contractually. I don't know, but he could contractually maybe have to voice Superman in this movie. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. But do I think, it may go like that, but do I think whoever they cast as the voice of Green Lantern or whatever,
right.
Aquaman, I forget some of the heroes that you mentioned.
Sure. Flash, the big Batman, Wonder Woman.
Flash. Okay, so there's going to be a new Flash or whatever. Do I think that whoever they get to voice him automatically gets to be him in live action? No.
Okay.
Yeah,
because
you end up making a Flash movie 3 years later. They're like, oh, well, we used so-and-so on the Jurassic movie. We got to use them.
No. Well, what do you think this is where we're going with James Gunn? I mean, these are, how shall I say it? As a DC fan, because I would venture that I know a lot more about DC Comics than you do, but these are like off the beaten path, right? I mean, Creature Commandos is off the beaten path. You could argue the Suicide Squad is a little bit off the beaten path. A Waller series is a little bit, Peacemaker series.
That's James Gunn's sensibility. That's what we want from him is off the beaten path, right?
Yeah, but is this dangerous to follow? Because this is more of an independent indie mentality than it is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman, which is the main highway, the main road of DC. Taking these exits, are people going to be like, well, when are we getting the main attractions? I'm cool stopping at the Quickie Mart, but I'd like to get to the fucking amusement park. So do you think that this is a dangerous plan to put in motion here, or is James just waiting and this is just kind of filling in the holes for now until he gets to the big people?
But again, you and I just said that this is going to take longer. So just because this is being announced now doesn't mean it's the priority over some of the other big people.
No,
stuff,
you're right. I'm just saying the approach he's taking is to focus on these other kind of lesser known characters. We haven't seen anything besides Superman.
Those aren't lesser. They're all the big characters. Those aren't the lesser known characters. It's we've got Superman, we've got Batman, Wonder Woman. How do we get all these characters together, right?
Yeah.
But in an animated movie for kids. It doesn't need to be dark like, the Snyder Justice League movie, right? That's not maybe for kids, but this could be. This could be their Land Before Time. Who knows?
Yeah,
and the other thing is that I want to make it clear. If you guys read the report, right? And again, Rocha, well, I'm going to take care of you.
I'll believe it when I see it. Go ahead.
Yes. The story was actually not that they're making a Jurassic League movie. It's that they're making an untitled animated movie based on the Jurassic League.
Right.
And that's important verbiage, okay? Because they could be like, okay, we have plans for a Superman animated movie or a Batman animated movie. And guess what? He's not in the movie, right?
Right.
They could take some characters out. It doesn't have to be the characters that are in the Jurassic League, or they could add other weird ones. It's just the concept. They're going to do a superhero dinosaur movie, and Brian Lynch is writing it.
Right. Well, let me ask you this, because we just had the Spider-Verse films that, they're really successful, and another one is nominated for Best Animated Feature here at the Oscars. And we saw that artwork for Batman Beyond that came out just a week ago, that was put out. I retweeted that and was like, well, why didn't this become a feature film? Batman Beyond, Batman, the name itself carries a lot of cachet, and you see the success of Spider-Man. And a lot of people speculate that Zaslav hates animation and that maybe he doesn't want to do these kind of these theatrical animation features for theatrical release. He'd rather do them on, which WB does well with these, like Killing Joke and other ones that are just on the Max streaming thing. But here comes a big one that is a theatrical feature. So do you think they didn't do the Batman Beyond and because they want to focus on this one and they only want to do stuff under James Gunn's kind of direction here with this animated stuff?
I don't think. I think that there's adult animation.
Yeah.
Like,
you do think there's adult because you just said it's for kids a few minutes ago.
Right. I'm saying that adult animation like Batman Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that would fly. I mean, again, if you're going to make an animated movie, the goal is to make $1 billion and make it for kids.
Right.
And I don't think that kids are, Batman Beyond's too dark for them.
Well, it can be
like a layup premise.
Right, because it's Justice League and it's dinosaurs. I hear what you're saying.
It's just superheroes.
But with Batman Beyond, you have a young kid learning to become Batman. He's essentially a teenager or someone in his late teens learning to become the new Batman in the future. There is a possibility there to get that teenage audience, that young adult audience who likes to go repeatedly to the movies in there to see it. But I take your point about the darkness. Maybe they feel like they haven't established the Batman 100%. Maybe it's not yet the time to go in this direction, whereas they can get away with a bit more on something like Jurassic League. Maybe.
Brandon Heaton, no one is saying the animation is just for kids. Go check my fucking blog, theinsnider.blogspot.com. Okay? Not even theinsnider.com. Go check the blog spot, and you'll see that a Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was in the must-see section, top 15 movies of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I like animated movies just fine.
Yeah.
But when I talk about them, I have to talk about them from the perspective of the industry that makes them and who the target audience is. They didn't make Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse for 40-year-old guys. They made it for teenagers.
Yeah. Which is why I think Batman Beyond could be successful if they were to go down that route. I hear you about the darkness, but there's a possibility they could have some success on that if they went that route, because there is enough lightness combined with the darkness, and it is a teenager learning to become a Batman for the future and pushing back on Bruce Wayne.
It's all about the style and the presentation, that kind of stuff. If you're telling me that if you released The Killing Joke or some of these DC animated movies, which are really good, some of them. You're telling me if you're going to release that in theaters and it would do well, I say you're crazy.
No, I don't disagree with you. I think you're crazy as well. Yeah, I don't think
that's
true. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like, maybe they do Batman Beyond, but they got to find filmmakers who can reinvent it like a Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Right, exactly.
You can't just put out a DC animated movie like the others that everyone may love. They just trust me. They feel it's like, what am I doing paying $20 for this?
No, it's a fair point. Like Mask of the Phantasm, which came out theatrically back in the late 90s, that is considered one of the greatest animated films ever made, but it is also, investing from the animated series. People went to see it and enjoyed it, but that's a rarity on the DC animation side of things. There are very few that you could release, if any, honestly, that would do well theatrically. Maybe if this Kingdom comes across, maybe The Dark Knight Returns, the adaptation they did of the Frank Miller, the 2-part one they did, that was theatrical as hell. That one probably could have made money, but the other ones, not so much. I don't disagree with that. Like I just saw the 70s Kung Fu one that they did, Son of Something, which I thought was a fun watch, but it wouldn't have made any money in the theater for sure. No, you're not wrong there for sure. All right. Anything more on this with James Gunn? Anything more on the news with Jurassic League? Any other things he's working on? That
No, I mean, he's about to start shooting Superman, so he's a little distracted at the moment. I don't know that he'll be responding to each and every rumor. I love how people went straight to James to see if it was true.
James, tell us the truth, James. You always respond.
I'm pretty confident about that one. I feel like Brian Lynch is online enough and would have said something if it was false.
Yeah, fair. Good scoop there, Jeff, for sure. And you can always, and where can they find these scoops of yours, Jeff? Please feel free.
TheInsider.com. Thank you so much for giving me the chance to plug. And last night we broke a big one as well. Do you want to talk about that one, John?
Yeah, let's switch into that one. And just a quick reminder before we do, Streamlabs and Superchats are open, ladies and gentlemen. Send them on. We got 450 of you watching us right now. Send in your love, send in your questions, thoughts, and comments as we go along here. This is a truncated show on Tuesdays, only 90 minutes. So if you want to get your stuff answered, put it in now. The Streamlabs address is right above Jeff's head. Pin in the chats in the description of the video as well, and send in your super chats. Go ahead, Jeff. What is the other thing you broke last night on theinsnider.com?
Sorry,
Did you?
no, someone threw me off in the chat.
Stop looking at the chat. Don't worry about the chat. I'll handle the chat. Go ahead.
Fair enough. Oh shit.
We don't need strangers thrown off the show. Go ahead.
I wrote about Emily Blunt.
Yes, let's talk about
joining Dwayne Johnson in the Smashing Machine. No one has called to yell at me about that yet.
Ooh.
So it was a rumor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, okay, it was a rumor. And okay, so Dwayne Johnson. I asked John last night. I called him up. I tipped him off before I was going to publish this news. I go, John, which leading lady that Dwayne Johnson has worked with do you think he feels like the most comfortable with? And John, you said Emily Blunt.
I did immediately.
Okay. And that is the correct answer. And if you're Dwayne Johnson and you're about to embark on, I don't know, the toughest acting assignment of your career, right?
Yeah.
Don't you want an actress who you are going to be comfortable with and who's, going to make you feel safe and a damn good actress? She's a current Oscar nominee, right?
Right.
Who's going to elevate your game and get you to sort of rise to the occasion. And if you're Emily Blunt, it's a chance to do an A24 movie to work on, with a director like Benny Safdie, who you just worked with on Oppenheimer and have spent the last 6 months with on the campaign trail. Plus to do a movie like this after, her husband John Krasinski's movie If, which is like a light sort of family film. I just feel like this is could be a great change of pace if the deal works out. There's no closed deal or anything. She's in talks, and I'm sure she's not cheap. But the idea is that A24 has been making more noise lately about making bigger, more commercial movies. Right. And I think that this movie with The Rock, I mean, if you're going to launch a new division, right, or you're potentially seeking investors for this new division, don't you want to launch that with a fucking movie starring The Rock?
Yeah. And I think you make some excellent points here because, by the way, in your report, which you didn't say here, you sense that they are looking at this as a potential Oscar bait type of movie for both Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, which is super shocking to consider in this situation here.
Let me ask, did I say that?
I mean, that's what the reports say on World of Real, that you're speculating that it could be an Oscar project.
I honestly don't even remember that that's in my story. Maybe it is. I forget. But
it says here, Snyder's report goes on to add that it is being seen as a potential Oscar vehicle for both Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson. This is what World of Real says.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if Jordan got that right, but only because I can't remember a line like that. I swear. Yeah. But I mean, it makes sense. I mean, yes, maybe I did allude to something like that. That this is a chance. It has a certain prestige to it. I mean, it's a Benny Safdie movie, right? It could be Foxcatcher.
Right, exactly. Which I thought was a good performance by Steve Carell, but not overall. I don't think it's the best film overall, but certainly a great performance from Steve Carell in that. This is an interesting situation because
no. You think you're gonna get away with what you just did without talking? Hold on, what did you just do? What is acknowledge me? Is this an inside joke with comic things?
No, it's a pro wrestling thing, man. A Roman.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Yeah. I was like, wait, we are talking about that.
I told you stay out of the chat. You don't listen. But yeah, this is an interesting thing. If you're even speculating Oscar, I mean, because I said a few years ago that I thought Batista had already kind of surpassed Cena and The Rock, and I said Batista would be the first one to win an Oscar from the world of professional wrestling. And here, if The Rock puts it all together, and here's a way to turn around the narrative on yourself when you've had some really big missteps in a number of arenas, including him coming back to pro wrestling. People booed him. People didn't like him coming back recently, the last couple of weeks or last few weeks, and they had to adjust the storylines to make him a heel so that people would want to boo him and be okay to boo him. And WWE would seem to be like they're in on it. You've got some damage repair to do here. So taking a film here that challenges you and working with someone like Emily Blunt, who's got dramatic chops and comedic chops, and who's going to make you comfortable on the set, as you said, Jeff, is going to make you feel cared for, is going to make you feel trusted in scenes. And if she's playing Dawn, which is his wife who got addicted, or his ex-wife who got addicted or became an alcoholic, rather, you've got Dwayne suffering with opioid addiction in the film as that character or as that person. And then you've got Emily Blunt delivering a performance as a becoming an alcoholic as he's becoming addicted to drugs. So this could be a really interesting emotionally draining rather, and dramatic film here and performance from both of them. So I think it's a very smart move to get her involved in this.
Yeah, I mean, again, she's never done an A24 movie before.
Right.
And Benny obviously worked wonders with Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems, and I think that's what Dwayne is sort of hoping for. He's sort of putting his career in Benny's hands and saying, listen, I will go there and I will, channel the rage and all that kind of stuff, but he's got to know he's in good hands. We know he's in capable hands, right? And I think Emily Blunt would certainly help. So we'll see if that deal closes.
Do you think the Adam Sandler one was the Safdie brothers? This is one Safdie brother,
right? This is his first solo movie,
right? That's a lot to ask to take a wrestler who's known for being like an overall mainstream action hero, not really known for delivering emotionally taxing and moving and stirring vulnerable performances, and you're going to get that out of him in your first directorial effort telling this story. It's going to be interesting, man.
I think he's shown glimpses, Dwayne, over the course of his career, that he's capable of a lot more than what we've seen. And I think that is true of this industry, is that it boxes people in.
Sure.
And sometimes you get real comfortable in that box.
Right.
And I like that Dwayne is finally getting out there, getting outside of his box and challenging himself in doing this. So
agree.
I am very excited about this one. Can't wait for it. And Emily Blunt, for her, what was interesting to me, though, was just like looking at the schedules. Like none of them have anything this summer, as far as like right now.
Right.
On
to come out, you mean?
No. Like
that they're working.
That's like, as far as I can tell, going into production this summer.
Wow. Okay.
Right. So it's like, did they basically all just clear their schedules for this movie?
Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't even realized, right, that it was Emily Blunt who convinced Dwayne Johnson to take this role. Is that true?
Wow. I did not know.
I read that.
Wow.
So that made it even more sense. I was like, holy shit, like she's actually been on this since the beginning.
Dude, they talk about Hollywood, and there's a lot of self-involved people, certainly in Hollywood. I mean, you can go see that J-Lo documentary or film, whatever the fuck that is. And you see people who are pretty self-involved and up their own butts and trying to promote themselves, do whatever. Emily is one of those people that doesn't radiate that. And I love that about her. It isn't that she doesn't have an ego or doesn't have is aware of her brand and whatever. But to hear that story, if it's true that, The Rock reached out to her, they had a conversation. She was like, you got to go and you want to push yourself. These are the things you can push yourself with. Because Emily can do mainstream, like with the Mary Poppins Returns, and she can do these kind of harder edge, emotionally taxing films like A Quiet Place. She delivers in every arena, rom-coms, what have you. She delivers. And so going to her and having her as a friend in your life when at a time when you're really wanting to make some changes is invaluable. And so to hear that she might have been the one that pushed him into doing it just makes her stock rise even more, in my opinion, as one of the good ones in Hollywood that are out there working. So
I wonder if she told him too, like, do it, because I'll be there for you.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
I got your back.
Yeah, that's very possible.
I don't know. I mean, obviously her and Benny, have been around each other for a while now.
Right. And who knows how much input Krasinski has had in this. I'm sure Krasinski will be there as a friend to lean on for Safdie as he's taken this on, having done his own kind of first time directorial effort with a pretty a difficult film to put together and making it work. So.
I don't think Benny needs any help.
You don't think Benny, who had been working only with his brother and he's doing his first directorial?
I don't think he needs John Krasinski's help. I think.
Wow. That's a statement.
What the fuck is going on in this chat? People are just dropping like absolute nonsense.
Like what? What are you talking about? You don't listen to it. You keep going into this chat, for God's sake.
Yeah, really. I'm gonna have to click away from this thing.
That J-Lo docu was a work of art. No, it wasn't.
This is me now.
I'm going to review that one this weekend at some point, but that was a rough watch, that J-Lo film.
You actually watched it?
Yeah, my friends have been watching it. They know I'm not the biggest J-Lo fan, and I'm really not. And I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And then it's an hour and 10 or whatever, and it was like slamming my head into a wall.
Only an hour 10?
Yeah, it's only an hour 10. It's not a long film.
Even my girlfriend hasn't made me watch that.
And some of the I'm hearing how Anthony Ramos turned down being in it because he's friends with Mark Anthony. And even though she's producing his next movie, Taylor Swift turned it down. So quite a number of people turned it down. But Jane Fonda's in it, and I think Ben's in it. Oh no, I'm sorry, Ben is in it, and a couple other people are in it. So yeah, yeah. Anyway, just let it be. I'll let it be.
Let it be.
All right, we're at 30 minutes. Let's take a quick break, and on the other side, we'll answer some of your Streamlabs and Superchats, and then get into some more questions here. Keep sending them in. You see the Streamlabs address right above Jeff's head. It's pinned in the chats and the description of the video. Send in your super chats as well as we go along. We'll be right back right after this. All right, Jeff, let's get into some of these Streamlabs here. Dennis Hoffman says, love these shows. Sneider, you and Baloney's are the only newsletters I pay for. Any word on Scott Beck and Brian Woods post 65? Are they in director jail?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, first of all, thank you for subscribing. Without looking, like, I don't know what they have off the top of their heads, but those guys are always busy. Like, good. They're damn good writers, right? And like I told you, I think in the last episode, I'm sensing a return to high concept, and like A Quiet Place is one of those sort of high concept movies that really worked.
For sure.
And they were going to direct it originally, so I do think that I think we'll see something else from them soon. They may just not be, natural filmmakers. Like maybe they're better off as like just like high profile writers. I wouldn't be surprised if those types of guys, if they like made their way into the MCU somehow. When you look at how they recruited Benson and Moorhead or something, maybe that's where they wind up. Maybe they wind up bigger and better than like I ever thought, because that's certainly what happened with Benson and Moorhead. I do think Beck and Woods are talented. I really like those guys, and they believe in theatrical. They bought a movie theater.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What do you think about all those directors coming together to buy that movie theater over there in West LA? You like that? You happy
about it? It's a damn good thing. It's about time these guys put their fucking money where their mouths are, right? Everyone's, we love movie theaters. We love as each and every one of them fucking closes up shop, and then these other guys buy like $30 million fucking mansions. I mean, I think it was cool that they got a big group together, right? It's like 30 people, and exactly. Like, because obviously it's not cheap, and maybe it is a little bit of a money suck, but after time, you would think, there'd be some kind of a return on investment. I don't know if they own the land underneath the movie theater or what that deal is.
Right. Yeah. Still can see that, because I love that theater. I've been there a few times. It's one of the best ones in LA. Carlton Rudder says, although slightly older, what would you say if Austin Butler was to play James Dean in a biopic? Masters of the Air is giving me huge Dean vibes. I don't know if we want to see a James Dean biopic. And I think Austin Butler, after having played Elvis, I think the last thing he wants to do is go back into another kind of broody, moody icon of the past and try to bring him to life. I think Austin wants to walk away from all of that for a little while and kind of explore other things he can do. And by the time he would circle around to James Dean, it'd be too late, as he's kind of aged out of it. So it's a nice idea if he'd been like 21 when he was coming in, but at this age, I don't see the logic in it. What about you, Jeff?
I kind of agree with you. Like, I don't see the market for a James Dean biopic. Like, I just don't think anybody out there cares.
Yeah.
I think I'm like the youngest person who like knows who James Dean is. I think if you're younger than me, it's very unlikely.
Natalie Portman said that the other day. She's like, the kids don't care about movie stars. She's like, people don't know my films anymore. The people under like 20 or under 18 don't know my films anymore. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of shocking.
You want to make a biopic, like, I don't know, make a Nicholson biopic or something.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Caile Production says, when do you guys think we will hear about the Supergirl director? Yeah, Jeff, people made up these pictures with Millie Alcock's face on it. She wasn't on the selfie. But do you imagine we're going to be hearing about the Supergirl director sometime soon in the next couple of weeks? As you said, Superman Legacy about to go into production.
No idea.
Oh, wow. You haven't heard anything?
No.
Interesting.
Maybe
okay.
End of next month.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe as they get closer to shooting the cameo that she's going to be in the film, they'll get a director for that too.
I just think that, like, you know, you got to strike early in this town, right? Because if if there's someone with real talent, then they're going to get snapped up.
Right.
And so, you know, better to make your play early and then have to switch
Yeah.
than sort of get stuck with your second or third choice.
Good point. I think Emerald Fennel is sitting right there. Just saying. Carlton Rudder says, I saw Drive for the first time today and loved it. Love Jeff's poster behind him. My question is, have you heard any advance word on how the Fall Guy is? I haven't heard any advance word, except you've been telling me that you're hearing, am I wrong on this, that you're hearing good things about the movie and that the studio really believes in it?
Yeah, the studio does really believe in it. And I do think it looks really fun. Like the marketing campaign is good. Part of that is, you know, like that first trailer I felt like was 3 minutes long.
Yeah, it was pretty long.
Like so maybe it looked good because it showed us a lot of good stuff, you know.
Right.
But I think it's going to start the summer with like a blast in early May. And I think it's going to have buzz from CinemaCon or from South by. And have I talked to anyone who's personally seen it? I don't think I have.
Okay.
But yeah, I've heard it, yeah, it's going over very well internally.
Good things. And just a quick note, I did get the email. I am officially invited to CinemaCon, so I will be there. I'm looking forward to going back. So I got the email on Friday, kind of sat on it over the weekend, and I'll be emailing Emily Bank over there. So I'm very happy that they accepted me into it. So I'm looking forward to it. Might even bring the Lady Outlaw along, have it a workcation. She can work out of the hotel room while I go down there and go see stuff. So I don't know if you're going, Jeffy, or you got accepted, but I hope to see if you are.
I got rejected. They said I knew you, and so I was
well, that's
automatically declined.
That's ironic.
Well, I'll see you there, bitch.
Okay, sounds good. Shazverse says, I think WB wants a Super Mario over a Spider-Verse. What? No, that's ridiculous. They don't want a Super Mario over Spider-Verse. What do you think, Jeff? No? Yes. What?
I mean, I think I know what this person is getting at, and
Yes.
and you're right. I mean, Super Mario was twice as big as Spider-Verse when you think about it.
True.
Yeah, I mean, Super Mario is aimed at kids. Spider-Verse is aimed at teens and like young, you know, like the 12 and up, 11 and up crowd.
Right.
But like all those 6, 7, 8-year-olds, like Spider-Verse, a lot of that probably just goes over their heads. No.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, let's hit a couple of these Streamlabs and we'll get back to the show. The topics here, one by one. Says Elizabeth Olsen may star in a movie where she is a park ranger who is being chased through a mountain pass by 3 individuals who are on the run. The film will also co-star Benedict Wong. Just a fun prediction. Jeff, am I missing the joke here?
A random prediction about Elizabeth Olsen?
Yeah.
Starring in a movie, and I don't know.
Chased by 3 individuals on the run.
Sounds good. I'd watch it.
Yeah. Murphadurf says Tommy Lee Jones winning the Oscar over Ralph Fiennes in 1994 is to me the biggest Oscar upset in my lifetime. I was born in 1968. Do you agree? If not, what was bigger? Yeah, what was a bigger Oscar upset, Jeff, than Ralph Fiennes losing to Tommy Lee Jones for Fugitive, right? I think. Is that who he lost to? Wow.
God, a bigger Oscar upset? I mean, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
No answer.
You're literally an FYC, and you're telling me you don't have an answer for this question?
An Oscar upset that I was upset about? Like, I don't know. This stuff doesn't. No answer.
Okay. So you weren't upset that Shakespeare in Love won Best Picture over Saving Private Ryan?
I've never seen Shakespeare in Love. Never seen it.
How about Crash winning over?
I think when you, I guess you just made my point for me because I do think I punished Shakespeare in Love. I was like, oh, you beat Saving Private Ryan? Fuck you! I'm never gonna see you ever in my life.
How about Alan Arkin winning for Little Miss Sunshine over Eddie in Dreamgirls, or Mark Rylance over Stallone in Creed? Any of those be upsets?
No, they did not.
Of those?
No.
All right. All right, there you go.
The only time I was upset was when Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't nominated for Nightcrawler. That pissed me off.
Oh yeah, that was a good film for sure. Shakespeare in Love totally deserved it over Saving Private Ryan. It's Saving Private Ryan is, after the first 30 minutes, it's a law of diminishing returns.
I love this. No pun intended. Bozeman losing to Hopkins was a pretty big deal. No, it wasn't. When was the fucking last time you've even heard the words Ma Rainey's Black Bottom? Give me a fucking break, dude. Love Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah, Zeno Hour is an absolute nutball. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know he doesn't know how to analyze good movies. Shakespeare in Love is a phenomenal film and is absolutely works for the people who understand Shakespeare, understand what the story is. It's an incredible film, and I would take it over Saving Private Ryan every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So, all right, let's move on to some other stories here. Jeff, your boy that you love to death. You're the charter member of his fan club. I hear you've gone out on dates with him. Your boy Shane Gillis here did his SNL terrible monologue where he just said, "Hey, these are the jokes, folks." Did a few skits. Only 3 of them were remotely funny, in my opinion, and the rest were kind of meh. So was this a lot of hullabaloo, a lot of drama and controversy for nothing? What do you
Isn't
think?
that how it always is? I mean,
Yeah.
first of all, what controversy do we think that there was going to be? That he was going to go out there and start making anti-Semitic jokes and things like that.
I mean, he has had
NBC.
Holocaust deniers on his podcast, so it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Did you think that that's what he was going to do on SNL? His first sketch was going to be about Holocaust deniers?
He did a develop me disabled joke in the fucking monologue. What are you talking about? It wasn't in the realm of possibility.
So then it was, transgressive in a sense. Like, he did say the R word. He did, right?
Yeah.
So did he use gay as a pejorative?
I don't remember if he did or not. I don't think he did.
I mean, but either way, who gives a shit? Right?
A lot of people give a shit. Yeah.
Well, I know. Not enough though, because the ratings actually came in today, and he was down from last week.
I know.
The last episode, although way higher in like 18 to 34-year-olds or whatever.
Right. People don't know it. That's why. Yeah.
That right, exactly. Older people don't know him. Older
right.
people aren't going to stay and tune in for him.
Right.
I liked the monologue. The monologue was like intentionally self-deprecating, and to see all the trades and all the media outlets, Shane Gillis struggles through monologue. He's like clearly making fun of the fact that like he has to watch what he says up there because everyone's watching him, like waiting for him to say something. That in and of itself is part of it. The stuff about him, like all little boys being their mother's gay best friend, hilarious. Okay, and then he went back and repeated like his Down syndrome stuff, or at least half of it.
Yeah.
I mean, he should have done the Down syndrome voice where he's talking about his cousin making grilled cheese sandwiches. But like,
these are the jokes, folks. These are the jokes. Dude, come on.
The monologue was fine. The episode was uneven. The cold open, he's not in the cold open. The cold open was bad. Cold open is always bad.
It was bad timing. Yeah, I was surprised there were these like weird gaps.
Pauses.
Pauses. Yeah, I'm like, you all forgetting your fucking lines. Like, what is going on here?
It was bad.
Yeah.
Then the fact that did you see the cut for time sketch?
No, I did not see that.
You didn't see the Limu Emu?
Oh, was that the cut for time one?
Yeah.
I did see that one. That was
amazing.
That should have been on the show. 100%.
That was great.
Yeah.
I mean, the Green Bay Packers thing I thought was funny.
That was terrible, but all right.
I like the HR sketch one.
The HR sketch was funny, except it was all right, never mind. Go ahead.
I mean,
it should have been women turning it around. It should have been women saying, "Can I hit on this dude? Can I?" Like, you have to turn it around to make it funny.
You're right.
Like they did with Abbott Element, like they did with Quinta Brunson when she was doing the sexual harassment thing. That was funny as fuck, man. So I think it should have been turned around.
The point is that you can't blame Shane for the show's writing. I mean, the show's writing has been subpar for a while. I mean, he got some goods, he got some bad. It's just pretty much like any other episode. But for a guy, like I thought he was pretty good, and I think he would have made a good addition to the cast.
Yeah.
Full time had that worked out. I'm glad it didn't though, because everything worked out for the best.
I think you're right. But when I look at it, I almost look at him like he wouldn't have needed SNL for too much longer. Like, you can tell that he is at another realm in how he does his comedy, than some of the people on the show. Like, I don't think Mikey Day is going to rival Gillis for the kind of comedy he's going to tell or do in shows going forward. A good host, a good reality host. That cake show is funny. But his Trump sneakers one was hilarious. That was a good sketch.
Trump sneakers and Fugliana was good.
Fugliana was all right. Yeah, I thought it was all right.
But there we go. We just named 4 or 5 like pretty good, memorable.
You named 4 or 5. I did not name her 4.
Trump sneakers, Fugliana, HR. I like the Packers one, and we both liked
the Limu one was good. I will say the betting one I thought was funny. That betting commercial.
Another one.
That was a good one. So
this
those are the
is
3.
An episode of mostly wins with some lows. And even like some people really like the Jamaican church.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. One. I like that Jamaican one. I did like the Jamaican.
I thought that was okay. So it's like, there we go. There's 6 or 7 sketches that you're saying that you liked.
No. I said only 3 and then 1 cut for time. So only 3. The sneakers, the gambling one, and the Jamaica one. Those are the 3 that I liked.
You thought the HR one was okay, though?
The HR was okay, yeah. You're trying to make me like that one. I didn't like it, so I appreciate you bullying me into liking it, but I didn't.
The point is, I think that the media is invested in, like, Shane Gillis flops at SNL, monologue, struggling. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's crazy how the media fucking covers this guy. They cover him like he's fucking Hitler.
Okay.
And
you know what? You're being just as dramatic as they are, saying they're covering him like he's Hitler, for God's sakes. They're not.
I just like to point out the shortcomings of the trades.
That's fair. But I also think you're dangerously walking into that line of like a politician. We're like, the media. It's certain members of the media.
I am the media, but it's like, I know how the fucking sausage gets made, and it's embarrassing sometimes.
Fair point. Yeah, Sydney Sweeney is this weekend, right? Whew, that's going to be fun to see. But I also think the writers write to what they get. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, some writers write to whatever talent they've got on the show. So if certain things are uneven, it's because I think the talent is uneven sometimes. And that may be because I thought the Nate Bargatze episode was good. I thought he was really funny in a lot of his sketches. And I knew even less about him than I did Shane Gillis. I discovered Nate on TikTok and then went back and watched his stuff after the SNL episode. So, but look, Gillis is a funny guy. And I think some people took my tweet that I put out in an incorrect way. Like, I don't think he's a conservative Republican MAGA guy because he makes fun of all sides. And I do think he's covered at times in a certain way that he's part of that movement. And he isn't. But he has made these inappropriate jokes. And he has recently had Holocaust deniers on his podcast. So you're going to have to own up to that shit. That's the real world. You can't just get away with that. It's no big deal. So, it's going to be interesting to see how he processes the next few years of his career. Because I think he's a funny actor. I'll tell you this. I think he should, if Bert the Machine can get a fucking movie, Shane Gillis should be getting movies. He's funny. So put him in movies, man.
Those are coming.
Yeah. Could you see him in like a romantic comedy or something, like a funny romantic comedy? I'd be down with seeing him in that. Something weird like that. Okay. So anyway, there's Shane Gillis. What else did we put on our list here to talk about?
So wait, Netflix bought his new show though.
Oh,
so he self-financed a show, him and McKeever.
Oh, that's great.
Called Tires, and it's like 6 episodes. Netflix just bought it along with a second special from him.
Nice. So what is
he's
Tires
killing
about?
it? It's like about it's like a Tommy Boy kind of thing.
Oh.
With like a kid who inherits his father's business and he's woefully unprepared, and
well, that sounds familiar.
And his cousin is like Shane Gillis, and he's super annoying.
His cousin is so Shane's not even the lead. Shane's
right? No, he's not the lead.
Oh,
yeah, he's not the lead.
Okay, all right, that can make it work. Well, speaking of Netflix, let's move on to this story, Jeff. Before we go to another break here, there are rumors here, and this is from Deadline and a number of other sources. That's a number of people being circled here to be in the second season of Beef. Now, if you remember the first season, the executive producer Lee Sung-jin, we had oh God, why am I forgetting the names all of a sudden? Stephen Yoon and what are the other names? I'm sorry, it was the woman who was the lead in that.
Ali Wong.
Ali Wong, yes. Yeah, so Asian cast. Asian situation here. We did have
and now it's all white people.
Well, yeah, there's the cast here. What you're not all, but mostly it's Caile Spaeney, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Anne Hathaway. And Charles Melton, who is, I think, half white and half Hawaiian or Pacific Island, I think, Islander. And so, yeah, in essence, why are you going in that direction? Why not stay telling stories from the Asian point of view? We have enough stories from the white point of view for the motherfucking love of Christ. Why can't we stay with the Asian point of view or person of color point of view or black point of view? Why can't we explore that? Why do we need to explore and bring in Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway, the heavyweights, to be a part of this? I just don't see the logic. Melton, I don't mind. I like him as a up-and-coming actor. Let's see what you got. But why are we bringing in all these people?
I know. How dare we hire talented actors?
Yeah, that's what
television shows.
Yeah. There's no Asian talented actors.
How dare we Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway? We don't want you guys anymore. What are you talking about?
No one is saying that, by the way, but okay.
Beef season 1 was about Asian actors, and so Beef season 2 has to be about Asian actors, or
why not?
Or people of color.
Yeah, why not? What's wrong with that?
But if he has an idea that's about two couples, right, and in his head the couple is white,
yeah,
why does it have to not be like? I don't understand. He's the boss of the show. He's Asian. If he thought the couple should be Asian, he would have written a fucking Asian couple.
Yeah, sorry, I mean to correct myself. Charles Melton is half Korean, half white, so I apologize for that. Yeah, not Pacific Islander, Korean. So I apologize. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
But yes, I just said it. I'm done.
Well, I think it's ridiculous because I think you should have stayed. I mean, there's, again, as I've said, there's plenty of shows from the white point of view. There is rare shows from the Asian point of view or person of color point of view. Why do this decision? Why not stay in that realm and tell those stories? There are plenty of stories.
Who are you addressing this question to? An Asian guy? How dare you, Asian guy, cast the show the way you want? You will cast it the way I want you to.
Oh, I don't know what went on behind the scenes. I don't know if Netflix went to him and said, listen, we need you to,
guys,
whiten it up a little bit.
I know everyone likes this show, Beef. I know it's winning all the awards and all the Emmys, but we need white people in it.
We need to up the
ratings. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Well, I don't like it. That's what I would say. I
don't like it.
Because there are more.
Let's respect this creator and his vision, which apparently had white people in it.
I don't know.
And
yeah, we'll see.
It's not like Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway stormed the Netflix gates demanding to be in Beef season 2.
Who's blaming them? I'm not blaming them. I'm not blaming the actors. You got to work. I'm just saying I don't like it. Oh, here we go. Forced diversity. Yes. Forced. Yes. Forced. You better do it. Forced. Yes. Oh, so ridiculous. I'm just saying, and you all know it's true that we have 5 million fucking shows from the white point of view. We don't need to see yet another show from the white point of view. We don't. We've got so many to choose from. You pick multiple genres you can pick from on all the networks. By the way,
we don't have any shows from the Black, Asian, or Latino perspective.
I would love to have more of them, is all I'm saying. And this could have been a great arena, but maybe you're right. Lee Sung-jin wants to tell these stories, and we'll see how the end result of it is. But
let's see how Shogun performs on FX.
Shogun. It's on right now. It's on Hulu right now. Go watch the first 2 episodes.
Did you watch it?
Of course. I went to the theater to see it. I saw both first 2 episodes. So I'm going to see them again and do a reaction video live later on tonight at like 7 on the channel for the first 2 episodes. We want to talk about it. So, peak wokeness. Oh, you woke son of a bitch. Oh, you woke one. My life's unhappy, you woke fuck. Anyway, go ahead. All right. What else are we going to talk about here? What else have we got? Fuck, some of you people need therapy. All right, Sean Bailey. Should we talk about Sean Bailey? Yeah, let's talk about Sean Bailey. You did a follow-up on Sean Bailey here, and seems like he's not going to Netflix. I know you speculated about this on the show a few weeks ago, that he was leaving Disney and that maybe he's not going to join Netflix until after the Disney daily quarter earnings or whatever. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's still in the works, still very true? Or do you think maybe Sean is now, as you said, a free agent and someone's going to scoop him up before?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying any of this.
Okay.
I mean, obviously he's gone after 15 years at the studio.
Yes.
David Greenbaum's coming in. Why is David Greenbaum coming in? He has more refined taste and can make movies for less money.
Okay.
That's why he ultimately got the gig.
Mhm.
And he has great filmmaker relationships as well.
Yeah.
Sean Bailey, I think everyone thought, yeah, he's leaving for Netflix. Now,
Right.
could he still be going to Netflix? I think it's very possible,
Okay.
right? Even though all the reports went out of their way yesterday to say, and he's not going to Netflix, right?
Sneider, you're wrong.
It's like no one acknowledges this rumor as true, right? And then it's like, but our insiders tell us he's not going to Netflix. And it's like, I don't know. Does he have a non-compete? Did he agree not to go to Netflix for a certain period of time? Is that part of the announcement that Disney gets to save face and say, we didn't lose him to Netflix. We've basically let him go. And, he was a free agent. And then Netflix decided to, he didn't leave us for them. Yeah. It's all about, fucking perception in this town and all that shit. So am I ready to say that Sean Bailey is definitely 100% not getting the Netflix gig because I read it on Deadline or something? Like, no, I'm not.
Okay.
But because I don't know what happened. Like, do you really want to? He didn't get the golden parachute.
Yes,
right?
you said
he didn't get the Amy
gig.
Pascal treatment.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be a producer out there right now, especially if it's like, I know he's sticking around to do Tron.
Yes,
but like, is he? Is he going to be producing a bunch of movies for Disney now? Like,
yeah.
And there's a bunch of places that would love to snap him up if he is in fact a free agent. I just I would be surprised if he had the opportunity to run Netflix and passed on it.
The Moon says article said he's staying on for his last movie, then going to do entrepreneurial stuff. What would be the entrepreneurial stuff, Jeff? I mean, do you think
it's what I'm doing right now? I mean, and it's like, it's going well. I'm proud of like what I've done so far, what I've accomplished, and hopefully it will keep going and it'll go bigger and beyond my wildest dreams. But do I wish I had that security of a job with benefits and a guaranteed salary? Fucking absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is a guy, now he has all the money in the world, really. He's probably been making $10 million.
If he's working at Disney, I think he's fine, bro.
Yeah, he's probably worth like $100 million or some fucking shit. Like, none of these guys ever need to work again. Let's be very clear about that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right. 100%. Even if he's only worth $50 million, none of these guys ever have to work again. So it's all about what he wants. Does he want to be a part of a large corporate culture like an Amazon or an Apple or a Netflix? Or is he like, I just did that for 15 years and I felt very constrained and like I couldn't make the movies that I want to make? Because let's be clear, he may have, enjoyed some of the movies that he made.
Yeah.
He's working under a certain mandate over there.
Yeah, exactly. Certain things he's got to do, certain things he's allowed to do.
Right.
And
like I pointed out when I said he was in contention for the Netflix job, he is a guy who wrote a serial killer thriller, who, made movies with Matt and Ben. Like, this is not like I just want to grow up to make fairy tales sensibility. Right. So I think that he would love to do different kind of stuff. But I don't know if he's ready to be like, okay, I'm going to trade one mandate for another and go to Netflix and now just make these sort of down the middle,
white people only series. I hear you. Beef 3.
First of all, it'd be movies, not series.
I know.
And there's a lot of room for improvement, I think, on that front.
Well, yeah. What do you think about him going to work as a consulting person for Ben and Matt's?
I did think about that. I did. I was like, could he just go and run their company if that company is going to get bigger and bigger? Could that be exactly what he's doing?
If he's got all the money in the world, he doesn't need to be getting more money. So, like, he could take a little bit of a discount, but with the investment that is going to blow up down the road.
Listen, this is the thing you can never account for, right? It's like, do you want to be Matt and Ben's guy? Yeah. And you get to go to all the meetings with them and see all the and just like be around your friends.
Yeah.
In a sense,
but you're on your
movies with your friends, or do you want to be, in some fucking bungalow up in the valley? Right. With Sean Bailey Productions and, trying to do it just like anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good question. And as you get older and you've accomplished stuff, like, does hanging out with your boys, does that start to have a little more resonance for you than it does, as you said, sitting in a bungalow, having people come pitch you stuff people you don't know? Maybe it isn't going to work. Maybe it is going to work. You don't know. People, Hollywood people coming in. as opposed to hanging out with your East Coast boys. And
right, you have to hire an exec, right? And you have to like
Yeah.
get him from some other smaller producer who he's been working for, and
Right.
you know, like, and suddenly that's who you're spending all every day with.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you just can't account for on some of this stuff. And it's
Yeah.
what I love about Matt and Ben, where they're just like, you know, I just want to work with people I know and like and want to be around.
I think the business has never been more exhausting. I think the business. I saw 3 critics this week who retired or stopped covering movies and talking about movies, and we see people complaining about, you know, influencers getting to interview stars and the results of those interviews and everything like that. And I think the business has never been more exhausting. There's more demands. You're seeing it's constricting. There's less projects. Therefore, those projects have to do really well. People are laying off people left and right in numerous companies. Just as PlayStation was laying off a bunch of employees. And so it's just like, man, I don't know. Do you want to do this like with all the stress and all this kind of shit? No, I'll go hang out with my boys. We'll put something together. I got my own money. And if it works out, it'll be a great story.
That's the thing. It's never enough for people out here.
That's a very
never enough. And everyone wants to like start their own company, and you know, and obviously that's what I'm doing now. And if that's what Sean Bailey chooses to do, you know, I wish him the best of luck. You just want the guy to be happy with his next chapter. But I think he's got a lot left in the tank, and I think another company would be smart to make a play for him. I just don't know if he'd be a good number 2, right? But if you're the number 1, do you really want to bring in a guy who has the skills, the skill set to replace you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've been doing it for almost 4 years now, and it's not easy. And you deal with a lot of egos, and you deal with when you're putting stuff together in your own company, a lot of people's points of views and trying to schedule everything. It's a lot. So yeah, I can see how running your own stuff can be just as exhausting as like being under a window or whatever. All right. Well, let's see. Let's take a quick break here, and then we'll get into a couple more things and your Streamlabs super chats, and we'll be right back right after this. All right, let's get into it, Jeff. Some people have been mentioning some Denzel Washington story. Have you heard anything about this? Are they retracting it now? Is it a bullshit story?
I have no idea what they're talking about.
Okay. Let's see. Fred says, Hot Mike. The director of Godzilla -1 is currently working on a movie before he does a -1 sequel. Star Wars question. Are rumors of a Visions movie in the works, and could it be him? Jeff, have you heard anything about this?
No idea on any of that.
Okay. Yeah, he is working on another one, but he's talking about the kaijus fighting each other in a sequel for Godzilla -1. He wants to be able to combine the human element with this kaiju battle element. So we'll see if he ends up pulling that off. Could be interesting. And going to work on another film before he tackles a sequel to Godzilla -1, I think is a good thing. Faisal Hadi says, hey guys, Jeff, how do you feel about Cillian Murphy winning the Oscar now after taking SAG? Are you changing your predictions now, Jeff?
No. I mean, how long have you guys been watching me or reading me? This means nothing.
Okay.
I mean, there's 120,000 voters in SAG. Don't you think that, you know, most of those people, like the majority of them maybe liked Oppenheimer more or whatever? Like, I just think that the larger the sample size, the more a movie like Oppenheimer or Barbie or whatever fares well. When you shrink it, I think it's the reverse. I think that the taste becomes a little bit more refined. And I've said all along that Paul Giamatti is the front runner, and I'm going to stick with that prediction. Totally fine if Cillian Murphy wins. Like, he was very good. I just don't remember getting out of that movie and being like, fucking, this guy's going to win best actor. Like, really?
Okay. All right. There you go. There's your answer. Nelia says, good Tuesday, gentlemen. Just throwing some good vibes your way. Keep up the fantastic work, fellas. Thank you, Nelia. We appreciate it. John Lee says, do you think WB gets bought by Comcast? Wall Street seems to have very little faith in WBD right now, as the stock has gone down 65% since the merger. Jeff.
I'm sorry, John. I'm going to need you to repeat that.
You son of a bitch. John Lee says, do you think Warner Brothers Discovery gets bought by Comcast? Wall Street seems to have very little faith in WBD right now, as the stock has gone down 65% since the merger.
Yes.
You think WBD will get bought out by Comcast?
Yes.
Okay.
I think especially with like today, didn't it come out today that Warner Brothers is like it's pencils down for Warner Brothers and they're not going to do the Paramount thing?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's because it's like, yeah, let's just sit back and fucking get bought.
Yeah.
We
Karen
don't
Vanderman,
need
thank
to
you,
be
Karen,
depressive.
for the sweet super sticker. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Karen.
Is this a friend of yours?
No.
Okay, just the way you're reacting.
These are all friends of mine. You're all my children.
Oh my God. Steve McTee says, love the show, gentlemen. Jeff, any Marvel rumblings worth mentioning? Jeff, yes. Well, we asked you about that at the beginning of the episode. Do you have any new Marvel rumblings over the last few minutes?
Yes, absolutely. The new Wolverine is Viggo Mortensen. No.
Oh.
No. What? No, I don't have any Marvel
Daniel Craig is Dr. Doom.
I don't have any rumblings. Yeah, really. You guys are killing me with this shit. Viggo in the MCU, though, I like that. I just spit that off the top of my head, by the way.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Jeff Sneider is sending us hints. There's signals. Guys, read between the lines. I have not heard anything about Viggo in Marvel.
Hey, guys, any Pixar scoops like Toy Story 5? Do you have anything on that, Jeff? Anything going on that front?
No, I don't.
All right. Laser Screwdriver says, do you guys think Long Legs will be good? The teasers for it reeled me in big time. Love the show.
I do think it will be good. I think it will be very good. You can't release a shitty movie like that on that date. Like that is a date of supreme confidence. I feel like in the middle of summer, it's going to be the antidote to all this fucking corporate blockbuster bullshit. And I can't wait to see Nick Cage just fucking murder people.
It's an interesting cast. Nick Cage, Micah Monroe, Alicia Witt, who I haven't heard much about in quite some time. Blair Underwood as well. And it's set in the 1970s. The film focuses on Lee Harker, a new FBI agent who has been assigned to an unsolved case of a serial killer, and the occult gets involved as he investigates it further. So could be good. And certainly Nick has popped up with some interesting projects over the last few years for sure. JC Midas says, just want to say, love you guys. Jeff, shame you couldn't join us at the Mail Online. What is that?
Dude,
is that where you worked for like a week?
I very much appreciated the work at that moment for Daily Mail. I worked for 24 hours. It was just, I mean, that was something. They're like go on some model's Instagram page and write up her bikini shoot, and I'm like, this doesn't sound like a good idea.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even that. Like, I'm fine doing that. It was just so much like back end stuff. Like, you got to cut photos like this size, and this size. You got to have this keyword and this keyword, and like check that. And I was like, I can't. I'm too old for this.
Oh,
like,
I can't wait till you start your YouTube channel. I can't fucking wait till you understand my pain. I can't fucking wait.
It's gonna be so basic.
Yeah, sure.
You're
not going to be able to get away with base. That's what I'm telling you. Anyway, Lemmy Ward says, love the show. Do you think Dune Part 2 weekend box office forecasts are underbaked? Yes, I do. But I said it'd go over 100 million domestically. I see Deadline already has it as 170 million worldwide, but already people are posting sold out fucking pictures from theaters for tickets. So I think the demand for Dune 2 is bigger than people think.
Pictures.
Did the same for Barbie and Oppenheimer, and that turned out to be a really massive thing. So, but go ahead.
I'm gonna say same prediction as before: 88 to 92 million.
Okay. I say 1 to 125. That's what I say. Mike Joy says, haven't checked out Jen Gillis' comedy yet. Is he actually a good comedian or just popular because he was canceled? No, he's good. I would say he's good. Jeff?
Yeah, he's a pretty good stand-up.
Yeah. Check it out.
Better be for the money I paid to see him in May.
Just for a guy to walk along and go, hey, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, all right. Let's see. Megatube99 says, we obviously have yet to see them, but based on talent alone, which 2024 films could give Dune 2 some good competition at the 2025 Oscars? Yeah, Jeff, well, let me add this. Do you think, because I see some people now speculating that Dune 2 might run out of steam, won't get nominated, it's coming out in March, but we've seen, Black Panther get nominated. Certainly, Everything Everywhere All at Once won Best Picture, and Michelle Yeoh won Best Actress. That came out in March. So do you think there are competitors, and do you think it's too early or not too early for this film to come out for Oscar consideration?
No, I think I don't think it's too early. I think that this will maintain and still be a contender at this time next year. I do think it'll be a Best Picture nominee. I think it's just so far superior to the first film. Would you agree on that front?
Oh, 100. It is. I wouldn't say it was far superior, but I would say it was superior for sure.
Yeah, and well, that movie did really well at the Oscars, and that was in a full year, whereas this is going to be a strike affected year a little bit.
Yes, true.
So I think it's going to fare very, very well. And one last note on the Daily Mail. I forgot why I really didn't take that job. It's because they asked me to work weekends.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm like almost 40. Like, I don't work weekends. Like,
again,
you want me to write the bikini stuff? You want me to hit 10 million buttons and keywords and all that shit? I'll do it. But like, I ain't doing it on a Saturday. Daddy plays basketball on Saturday. They were like, Daddy, they were like, Daddy, this isn't going to work out. I was like, you're damn right it's not. Goodbye. Thanks for paying me today.
I can't wait till this fucker starts a YouTube channel. Weekends off? What the fuck is that? David Ebakimmi says, sending good vibes. Love the work you both do. Thanks so much. We appreciate it, David. And good picture, David, if that's you. I like the look.
Handsome bastard, David.
Casper said, why is it okay to be racist towards white people? It's not okay to be racist towards white people. Suggesting that you all have enough shows and that there could be a little bit of the piece of the pie for people of color or black people is not racist. You might want to look that up in the fucking dictionary. That's not racist, okay? I'm not saying white people shouldn't have shows. That's fucking racist. Saying white people have enough shows because you're 90% of the fucking shows on television, that's not being racist.
Leave us this little piece of beef.
That's not fucking racist, for God's sakes. Yeah, I swear, people, these anti-woke people throw this nonsense around when they have a really ignorant understanding of what racism actually is, and have never experienced it, by the way, because it's almost always white people throwing that around. You've never experienced it, really never experienced racism. The day you're afraid when a cop pulls you over to even move in your car, that's fucking racism, okay? There's the difference here. You guys don't understand. So anyway, let's see here. Oh, we got another one that came through. Let me worse it. Rather than setting up your own channel, Jeff, why don't you boys do more weekly shows? Jeff wants his money. That's why. So
yeah, Rocha can't afford me.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Jonathan, no, look, Jeff and I have pitched this to him many fucking times that we should do a SiriusXM daily show. It would be the show of shows, and I think it would be great.
Get me a fucking hosting job at SiriusXM, and you got it.
Yeah, we'll both do it, for God's sake. But Jeff thinks he's above me. That's the difference. Jeff, as he said the other day on the phone, he thinks he's the talent, and I'm just some shtuck that likes to get messed around. That's not the game here, okay? But he sees it that way. So there's no way
I absolutely do not see it that way. I could not do this show without you, Johnny boy.
Yeah, well, anyway. Jonathan Peck, and I appreciate that. So do you think we might see reemergence of the movie stars at the box office with the younger talented stars like Zendaya, Timothy Chalamet, Tom Holland, Austin Butler, Florence Pugh? I'm going to assume that's Florence Pugh, Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, Jeff, we've got a really strong stable of young actors who are now kind of burning up Hollywood in numerous projects and certainly starting to look at the possibility of a whole new Hollywood with these people winning awards. And look, I would put Emma Stone in there, even though she's kind of somewhat of a veteran now, having been nominated a number of times for Oscars and having won one. So do you like the look of young Hollywood? Do you like the talent that's coming out through young Hollywood? What are your thoughts on this question?
I do. I do. Yeah. You know, it's always tough to see like who's going to last and survive and have like 30, 40 year careers and where they stay on top.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like this incoming crop between Timmy and Austin Butler and Glenn Powell. I think these are, you know, strong leading men. And you know, I think we were probably without those guys. There was a period, you know, maybe a decade ago where like things were looking bleak, particularly on the American side.
Yeah, agreed. And where's Mike? I don't know. Mike, sometimes I think you say the dumbest shit and then the nicest shit. Like Rocha isn't, of course, Jeff is getting money off the show, for fuck's sake. I don't know. Some people
I'm
just,
rich.
yeah. Well, when you guys pay more, he'll make more. That's how it works, you know. And so I see somebody else who signed up for your newsletter. Did you also subscribe to the channel? Because
Thank you,
I would love
David.
that. So, but I make no money off people subscribing to his news. So if you want to subscribe to this channel, I would appreciate it. Comic Thing says, could Feige take Alan Bergman's job when the contract is up? Ooh, Jeff, that seems. I don't know if that's correlative. Would he do that? I mean, talk about even more restrictions on him. What's your thoughts on this?
I do think that. I think I may have alluded to that once or twice.
Oh, really? Okay.
That I'd heard that was what Kevin was pushing for. Sorry. Yeah, I did hear that.
Lord of Darkness says, fun fact, Rocha, there's Back to Black Amy Winehouse film coming out. It looks good. There's a trailer that dropped recently. Yeah, I've seen all 3 of the trailers that dropped. I'm not 100%.
Let's just watch the movie in 2.5-minute chunks and just watch all the trailers.
I'm not convinced that she's going to be able to capture Amy Winehouse. That's a very, very difficult person to capture because she was incredibly interesting and complex, and there were a lot of sides to her. And I don't know that actress necessarily has it. And from what I've seen from the trailer, I haven't been 100% convinced. Whereas I thought Kingsley Ben-Adir did a wonderful job with Bob Marley in the film, even with the limited amount of emotional stuff they gave him to navigate the film. I thought he was wonderful as Bob Marley and captured a lot of Bob Marley's essence. I don't know necessarily the actress playing her is going to do that with this film. Have you seen any of these trailers, Jeff?
Yeah, I thought it looked good.
Okay.
But yeah, we're going long, Johnny. If we're going to do these Nolan Oscars,
shit!
These may have to wait. I mean,
we may have to push it. We may have to push the Nolan Oscars to Thursday again. This is our Matt Damon. The Nolan Oscars have become our Matt Damon, for God's sake. So.
All right.
King Nirvana says, John and Jeff, speaking of mergers, being a person who just is working at. Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, John and Jeff. Speaking of mergers, being a person who's just working in Universal Studios Hollywood for months, will a merger affect the parks like cutting people? Thanks. Well,
I have no idea about any of that. Don't want to even speculate, but I mean, how can you even afford to cut people at a park? Like, you still need people operating the rides and selling the concessions, and I think it would be tough to like get rid of a bunch of people at the park, right? Everyone's there for a purpose.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: I worked at the park for 3 years in the Harry Potter. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter as a wand keeper, doing the shows and stuff. And I have been a part of when they've had to constrict and cut down hours, cut down performances because people aren't coming. So I think the only reason you would cut stuff at a park is if people are not coming to the park in the same numbers and droves that they did before. That's usually the sign when they start to cut people and cut hours and what have you. So the Hollywood movie side of things isn't going to really affect much of what you do with the parks. That's why Disney has a separate parks department and a Disney different movies department. It's 2 completely different things. And if one starts to fall down, then they start to make cuts where that one is falling down if they can't fix it. So that's what I would be worried about if I were you. Let's see. Hello says, you don't have a membership for your channel. No, I don't. What would you guys want? If someone wants to take control of that, let me know what you want from the channel. I'll happily do memberships, but I don't want people signing up for stuff that I can't deliver. I would hate to have that be a part of it. All right, let's hit some of these streams. Oh, Jeff, do you want to say anything?
No,
what do you got?
Yeah, we're going to have a membership. Don't listen to John about anything.
What are you talking about?
We're going to do a Patreon.
Oh, the Patreon. We'll see. We're arguing about money now. I can't imagine a Patreon, how that works. All right. Daffod Moody says, hello, John and Jeff. I'm a huge fan since the Schmodown days. John, when you won the title for Merle, it was so emotional to watch. God, it seems like a lifetime ago. I was wondering if either of you have heard anything about the new Alien movie. Alien Romulus coming out in August. Thank you. Jeff, first of all, thanks, David E. Moody. Jeff, what have you heard about the new Alien movie? Anything at all?
I mean, just that Jordan Rumi report, which was fucking gnarly. About where the alien explodes from.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, that sounded awesome.
I don't know if you want to do that. No, haven't heard anything, but hopefully it's good. Alien could use a hit, for God's sakes. Joe Clow says, do you think Harry Potter series will bring in enough subscribers to justify whatever the cost is? I feel like there's still room to expand the world in movies. Oh, yeah. I think it'll absolutely bring people in to be subscribers to HBO Max or Max. Don't you think, Jeff? Or no?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's see. We're also going to Test says, Jeff, what's your go-to food at the movie theater?
You know this, don't you, John?
No, I don't think. Remind me.
Pretzel bites, guys.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Salted pretzel bites. I'm fucking made out of pretzel bites.
What I do now when I go to the movies in San Diego is if there's a Wetzel Pretzels in the area by the movie theater, I get the pretzel bites with the cheddar cheese. I bring a small black bag and put it in there so nobody can ask questions about me bringing a black bag into the movie theater. And then I'll get a Coke at the movie theater. So I'm not like fully not giving them any money when I go to a screening. So that's what I do. So I agree with you. Pretzel bites, I would take those over popcorn any day of the week.
Popcorn's gross. No, nachos are the backup.
Ooh, nachos. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. With meat or without?
Meat. Have you been to the movie theater ever? There's no meat on the nachos.
Sometimes they put meat on the nachos.
There's no, I don't know where you're going to the movies. There's no meat on the nachos.
I go to the iPick in Pasadena. I go to the Alamo. They put meat on your nachos. Megatube9 says breaking in a new lawsuit. Amazon has been accused of using AI during the strikes to replicate actors' voices for Roadhouse in order to have the film ready before the copyright expired. This is coming from the LA Times. Ooh, Jeff, what are your thoughts on that?
Totally believe it. I think there are a lot of people who took a lot of shortcuts during the strikes. If you think every big writer just like went pencils down and didn't work on scripts like under the table, you're crazy.
Bullshit. I agree.
100%.
Levers12 says, loved you guys since the Schmodown and glad we got the hot mic on a weekly basis. What do you thank you. What do you think are Challengers 2025 Oscars chances and its box office? A nom for Zendaya or Luca Guadagnino, or is the movie coming out a little too early? Yeah, they dropped a new trailer the other day, Jeff. Good trailer. Your thoughts here. Do you think that's a film that could challenge?
Okay, well, before we get into its awards chances, I have to beat this out of you guys. Okay, I want to beat it out of you. A movie's release date has nothing to do with its awards chances. We can pretend it does, but movies are made for one reason. What reason is that, John? Hit me with it.
To make money.
Yes. So they will be slotted where they can best make money.
Right.
Okay. Do I think that is an awards movie? No. Do I think she will be nominated? No.
So wait. So you don't think that Air coming out as early as it did you think it didn't affect its Oscar chance? You think if Air came out in November or October or September, it would have had a better chance, don't you think, to be considered for Best Picture?
No, movie's the same movie.
Yeah, I don't agree with Jeff. I hear his point of view, but I don't agree with him.
But you really think that that's how voters think, John? That where they're like, "Oh, Air, that good movie, but it came out in April. We can't vote for it."
No, they go, I'm not going to revisit it. I watched it back then. I'm focused on these other things that are in front.
Okay, but if they thought it was great, then...
Have you met human beings before? I mean, they really, it's about whatever's fucking in front of them. When they open the refrigerator, they only eat about whatever's in front of them. You know, it's most people are like that. So, no,
well, then I guess that Air didn't stand out to them.
What about Blackberry? People loved Blackberry, and nobody nominated. Every year,
people love Blackberry. How many people saw fucking Blackberry?
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
$2 million.
Right? Yeah. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of films every year that don't get nominated that should get nominated, and well, not to say a lot, but there's a select few. To a lot.
But their release dates, if Blackberry comes out on Christmas Day, come see Glenn Howerton in Blackberry. It's not like the movie's suddenly a blockbuster that gets nominated for Oscars. That's absurd.
Aren't we talking about Iron Claw not coming out with enough time for it to get catch on or for Origin to catch on? We literally had this conversation weeks ago on the fucking show. And we said that Iron Claw should have come out earlier and the marketing campaign should have been in motion earlier for that film. That's essentially saying it was released too early. Or it wasn't
100% release dates
so it does matter. Release dates do.
No, it doesn't, because what we're saying is that it got the fucking primo Christmas release date, right? That's reserved for Oscar contenders, and it didn't get fucking anything because it didn't screen early enough. That's the reason. So that's just like a publicity strategy. That's them not knowing what they had. It has nothing to do with the release date. They got the release date and it had no effect. That proves the point.
No, if it had released in November or October, the hype could have built up.
Exactly.
And would have been motivated to go see it.
But here we are talking about April and May as, it's not a, if it's coming out in April and May, it can't be an Oscar contender. Well, when did Silence of the Lambs come out? When did Everything Everywhere come out?
No, I know. There's exceptions to this for sure, but I think there are films that get lost in the mix that come out earlier in the year. But you and I are just going to agree to disagree on that one, man.
But they don't get. You're speaking out of both sides of your mouth right now, Rocha. You don't understand that.
What
are they being forgotten, or are they having 5, 6, 7 months? Like we've been talking about how good Air is and how good Glenn Howerton is in Blackberry. Those movies benefited from coming out as early as they did because they needed to be talked about for 6 months, and it still didn't matter. Well, you're telling me if get rid of those 6 months, those movies come out in November or December, and now we're only talking about them for 1 month or 2 months, but it's the right 1 month or 2 months?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Very much so.
It's ridiculous.
Very much so. Why do you think they release movies later in the year that they think are their best Oscar bait movies? Because they know voters are like, whatever's in front of me, I'm going to consider. They're not going to go, you know what? Let me look back on these 500 movies and let me say what happened on February 22nd. That's not what they fucking do. A lot of the voters are like, whatever's come out recently, since this is supposed to be the Oscar bait. See, the problem with you, man, is you think these voters live on high in the noble mansion of intelligence. And the truth is they're human fucking beings. And they're going to vote for whatever's in front of them, whatever's in their mind. What's the thing we always say is the crisis of immediacy, right? These are these things that you talk about when this is the greatest player of all time. And people are already saying Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. And it's like Tom Brady just fucking retired.
The Iron Claw was right in front of them, right? It was right in front of them with a Christmas Day release, wasn't it?
A Christmas Day release, I think if it had come out in October or September, that's a different situation. You'd have had more hype for it, could have built it up.
So now September is Oscar season? John, please.
Fall is the Oscar season. September is in the fall.
September is a dumping ground. Dumping ground.
So now it does matter when a film is released because September is a dumping ground. So if you release a film in September, it clearly shouldn't be considered for Oscars. Which is it? Talking out of total sides of your mouth. What are you talking about? Jesus.
No, let me illustrate the point for you, okay? The zone of interest,
I can't wait.
Okay, would not have made the money that it did if it came out in April.
You have no way to quantify that. Zero.
You have no way to quantify anything you're saying either.
Exactly. It's just our opinions. I told you to agree to disagree like 5 minutes ago. You want to keep going with this, you know? All right, let's see if there's any more. Ari Altara says, I love your show, guys. Not only content, but your interaction with each other. I can feel the love between you two, even when you fight. You guys are the real deal. Wish you did this show daily. Yeah, you know, if there was enough money in it, I think both of us would be happy to do the show daily for sure.
Yeah, if I wanted my blood pressure to spike through the fucking roof, I do this show daily.
Yeah. That's the difference between a Latino and a white guy, man. To me, this is a fucking Tuesday. This kind of spiking is just standard operating procedure, man. We just burn hotter. That's all. Let's see. I think that's all the Streamlabs and Super Chats, man. So maybe we should wrap it up there.
No, I'm not ready to wrap it up. We're going to talk about American Psycho.
That's right. The reboot.
That's how we're going to end the show.
Let's do it. Perfect timing after a battle between us. Let's go. American Psycho.
So this was a story that I obviously released in the wake of getting screwed on the Blue Mountain State thing.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
The story that I'd heard about months ago that like this was going to, be a priority, but like, then they're like, but we're not really like actively taking pitches yet. But like, this is, trust me, this is an IP that Lionsgate has that has sort of been a cult thing for almost 25 years.
Sure.
I love that people are like, it's too soon. It's been almost 25 years. That's how long ago 2000 was. Yes, that is. We are allowed to revisit this. Now, what I basically said was that they want to reboot the property.
Yes.
I don't know if I 100% said that it was a movie, because I'll tell you what, it could be a TV show. No one in the millions of replies that I've gotten over the last couple of days to this American Psycho story, I don't think I've heard anyone suggest this should be a TV show.
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely talked about that with Jamie. And why isn't Lionsgate TV making it their True Detective? Because American Psycho could be an anthology show where there's a new fucking Psycho every season.
Yeah.
So I definitely think like they should consider that, and that was the point of the post, is that yes, they want to reboot it, they want to get takes.
Yeah,
they'll come in there with good ideas, whether it's for a movie, a TV show. They're open. That's what I'm hearing, is that they're open to all kinds of shit, but they want like a radical reinvention that takes place in the here and the now, not in the 80s. And that's the other thing. People are like, this has to be set in the 80s. It's like a quintessentially 80s story. I'm like, how so? I think that you take that ethos, or just like what Patrick Bateman was all about, and apply it to today. There's so many things you could do with it. I think you move away from a white guy. I think we've seen that with Christian Bale. And if 100%. You do a white guy, it has to be the complete opposite of Christian Bale.
Okay. You're moving off.
Okay, so like Michael Cera. Like imagine Michael Cera hot off Barbie. Fucking now he's American Psycho. I think someone like Charles Melton would be interesting. I mean, because when what do Americans fear most? I feel like it's China. China's taking over. China's going to be right. They're going to take over the world. The idea of, and I know he's Korean American, but like maybe a Chinese American, just like just imagine like Melton or Henry Golding on the poster and it says American Psycho. I think that is interesting. I think a black guy would be interesting. Imagine Daniel Kaluuya.
You can't get away with that, man.
Why?
People go insane.
That would be amazing.
A black serial killer?
Yeah.
Okay.
There aren't a lot of them. That's a unique take.
You don't think the world is combustible enough then without introducing a black serial killer into a mainstream project? I don't know, man. That'd be kind of scary, but all right.
I think it would be so fascinating.
Okay.
I mean, Jamie had a great idea, or at least an interesting idea, to make American Psycho a member of the Clinton campaign, the Hillary Clinton campaign, like the staffer. In 20.
I think why would that be? It'd be more realistic with Trump. I mean, Stephen Miller is essentially American Psycho, and
no, I think it's the idea that the American Psycho exists on both sides, and you have someone who's like, oh, Trump is a monster, but like willing to kill to like get their point across. Maybe they're killing MAGA guys. Who fucking knows? There's a million ways you could take this.
Sure.
And I think it would be fascinating, and I think Lionsgate needs to jump on it soon.
Fair enough. I think I want to go in another direction. If you do the reboot, I think you go with a woman. I think that's the real way you go, where she is just out here cutting dicks off and doing all these crazy shit and really shaking men down to their fucking core. And men fear women like crazy. Nowadays, we see it with all their politics and trying to limit women's rights to choose what to do with their own bodies. Try to create a Handmaid's Tale society with some of the bullshit coming out of the mouth of some of these politicians talking this nonsense about women. And we see women who want to fight back and push back and get extreme. We've seen the Promising Young Woman. That was an interesting film. And so if you had a female American Psycho, I think that could be so fascinating and interesting to explore. And men and anti-woke people would lose their fucking minds, which is exactly who you want to piss off. And I think that would be incredible. And if you want to get people to watch a series or a movie, that's the way you do it. And you make it relate to real shit that's going on in our world. So I would be 1,000% in love with that approach, because nothing intimidates a man more than a woman who is very clear about what she wants to do and how she wants to do it and enjoys inflicting pain on a man. Nothing.
I think at some point you do a woman, like, again, if you do an anthology,
that's a great choice.
Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah. I mean, someone with the incredibly beautiful and physical attributes to seduce and intimidate men and all of that, using that power to destroy men. There's nothing men fear more than that. So
hold on, John.
Okay. All right, let's I'll mute Jeff for now, so while he takes the call. Yeah, I think that would be a fantastic situation for sure. I forgot Megatube was in here. Sorry, buddy, got to block you because you're an asshole. Let's see here. Okay, be back.
Yep.
Cool. They already did that. Where did they do that scene? I'd love to know where they already did that. Where a woman is.
Yeah, I've seen female serial killers before. I don't think that's such a radical reinvention. I think it actually needs more than that.
You saw Monster. What other female serial killer show or movie have you seen?
John, you don't watch horror movies or serial killer movies, so let me just.
I do watch serial killer movies. I mean, and don't tell me I don't. What the fuck, man? Don't push that stupid ass narrative, just like Perry did. Fuck off, man. I watch a lot of horror shit, and I voice.
Well, if you did, then you wouldn't say that. You think Monster's the only fucking movie about a fucking female serial killer?
Name me 10.
Right fucking facts.
Let's go. 10 female serial killer movies. Bring it on. What do you got? Yeah. You don't got 10 female serial killer movies for all your bullshit. Get out of here, man.
Okay, goodbye. See ya.
You don't got 10. All right, there you go. He's gone, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we've hit the wall. That's Jeff storming out. So we're done with the show, I guess. So thanks to everybody who contributed and sent money in. Appreciate the Streamlabs and Super Chats. Let me take this down so we wrap up correctly. And I appreciate all the comments, certainly in the chat and what have you. And so thanks to everybody who hung out with us today. We appreciate you all madly. Thanks for everybody sending in the Streamlabs Super Chats and the comments. Please remember to subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you see when we're dropping all the content we do here. Hit a like on the video, share it on your social media. And hey, more than anything else, please let people know about the show and let people know what's going on here on the channel with all the stuff going on. And for those of you who are going to watch Shogun, I will do a reaction and review for the show later on today and have some fun there. So we will see how that goes down later on tonight. If you want to hang out with me, 7 p.m. PT, we'll do an hour-long conversation about the first 2 episodes, and hopefully you all can join me then. All right, the best of love to all of you guys, and we will talk to you next time with another brand new episode, if there is another episode of the Hot Mic Piece. Until then.